Holy dude, Witch Hat Atelier episode 5. I'm gonna say it again. Absolute cinema. My gosh, when this show hits those pinnacle points, like it just launches, like it just takes off, and it's pure absolute cinema. Yeah, I'll admit there's a little bit of this episode that's a little corny. It's a little cheesy. It's got a little bit of that cheesy side right there. The whole bit about like having the dragon fall asleep on the fluffy stuff. It fits the Tetia's character, and it was super cute there. But I do admit the idea of massive explosions going off, a dragon walking up and going, and it falling over and rolling on his back like a puppy dog was a bit corny. But like the moment Kefrey shows up, like the moment that he freaking shows up, like holy dude, absolute cinema. Like just the crazy, he had a like loaded freaking water dragon on his sleeve. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Like he has an entire sleeve is just a pre-drawn dragon. Now I'm not sure if it's like a water dragon or if it was like a, I don't know, something else of a material, because it was like extremely gold, and you can probably just equate that to the fact of like the light rays coming in and hitting it just right and making it look golden. But it probably is at least water. But this massive freaking dragon just appears out of nowhere and just freaking chomps on this mat. That dragon was already massive. This was a much more massive dragon that just literally just consumed it, like chomp, like. What is that? Now, they haven't really gotten truly into sort of like innate ability. I mean, it talks about the idea of like being able to draw really well, you know, just the skill in your drawing. And I would assume a lot of it has to do with like problem solving. Like this whole entire episode is problem solving. They're trying to figure out what they can do to create an effect. And that's what a lot of the spells are. It's like the symbols and what you do with it, where you place it on the circle itself, how well it's drawn. All these things add up to the ability of magic. But to produce something that big, like, is that strictly just what he did there? Like, what he drew on his sleeve, created to make it that massive? Or is there something else into effect? Is there like an innate mana capability, or is it all in the ink? And yes, I don't know, is there an element there where potentially just the ink itself could have been a different type of ink? Because, I mean, we're getting into this episode at the very end there, wanting to know where the ink came from. Now, it could be specifically a specific tree, or it could be a different type of tree. I don't know. I gotta assume that he probably just wants to figure out where it came from, and thus knowing, you know, essentially where at least the town of origin or something like that, to at least have that be some point to investigate. But either way, like, that all aside, is like that right there. Like, how many sleeves does he have, I wonder? Like, how many has he got preloaded there? I mean, we got a sense there with Agate and her having a lot of that stuff, like, pre-drawn, but that was incredible, dude. What he drew there. Holy crap. And again, it goes back to the whole idea of, like, and it was even hitting on again in this episode, the idea of, like, we're borderlining that element of, like, what is forbidden, what is not. Like, there's going to be a coming point at some point in this story where I think they're going to question what exactly is forbidden magic. Because even in this episode, she's like Kefrey told me that magic is supposed to be beautiful and fun, and it creates happiness. Besides forbidden magic, everything else is happiness. Magic is supposed to be happiness. Well, we just got done talking about how Agate threw a big fireball in the face of this dragon that, you know, the dragon wasn't hurt by it, but that's because it's a dragon. But normally, if you throw a fireball like that at somebody, like, let's say they use it on Tetia, I think Tetia is going to be hurt. So what actually does qualify what is forbidden or not? A massive dragon that can literally chomp down on the other dragon. Now, granted, it kind of gives the sense that the dragon just got knocked unconscious because it was such a panic state. And yes, submerged in a bunch of water, probably drowned it temporarily, made it go unconscious, whatever. It hitting the ground or whatever. It could be that this massive water dragon can't hurt a person, but I would think if you were down on the ground and that stuff hit you, you'd be dead. I mean, he's looking around for Coco. I was afraid that Coco was dead too. You would think that something like that would hurt. So again, it creates that question mark of like, what exactly is forbidden magic versus regular magic? It's just whatever they deem as difficult to draw. And they're just trying to, again, like I said before, I think a lot of this around forbidden magic and what's not forbidden magic is really around the idea of control. This is all about control. Again, back there where they were talking about the fact that they were using it to harm people, and at some point they decided to erase the memory of everybody and then create sort of a system around, you know, limiting what people can do. And then they created forbidden magics and classified certain things like putting magic on bodies as being forbidden, that stuff. and, altering the body, all that kind of stuff is now forbidden magic because it's control. Everything's about control. So, anyways, the episode, I love how I just started this episode and just like I gush about how amazing that looked and then go right and talk about forbidden magic, this crazy spell that Kefrey had, but really solid. Again, I think the earlier segments of it, again, it's kind of goofy, the idea they're getting stuck, and at some point, we have this cute little scene between Coco and Tetia, and I do love this little segment to kind of get a little bit more into Tetia's character. Coco coming over there and saying, look, I'm sorry, here, you have this coat, and let me cuddle up with you because it's nice and cold and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, getting into the idea that the coat itself is something that Coco does like. Yeah, she's still giving it up to Tetia because she wants to comfort Tetia, but it's something that she really likes to have because it gives her a sense of security and strength. I do like the idea that she would get something out of wearing this thing, that now that she's come to this location, she's in a place that she's not, normally. Before, she was at the village, she was with her mom, that whole stuff kind of fell apart. Now she's in a foreign land, she's with a bunch of people that she doesn't know, she's out of her comfort zone. This is the thing that gives her strength because, what does it tell her? I'm a witch. It's a disguise, basically. To Coco, her outfit, her robes, and the hat, it's a disguise because she herself doesn't feel like she's a true witch. Like, even in the last episode, she's talking about the fact that even though she's wearing this stuff, they're the talented ones. Like they said before, you're born to be a witch. You can't just become a witch. And even though I've now had this whole, revelation given to me that anybody can become a witch, it's still not true because these are the people that have the real talent, not me. So she feels like she's literally wearing sheep's clothing. Like she's never going to be a real witch. And thus right now, she's kind of opening up to Tetia and the idea that it makes me feel comfortable and strong even though I'm not a witch. It's a lie, basically. And now she's giving over to Tetia because, she's, cold and she wants to comfort her, whatever. But yeah, suddenly Tetia gets upset. She goes, no, poof spell. It was super cute. Tetia is showing off her cute little spell. This creates this big fluffy paradise where everybody kind of hangs out inside of. And later on, Agate and Richie comes in there and they jump into it as well. This big fluffy paradise, which they hinted at it in the previous episode. Tetia was talking about the fact that it was like this desire that she has to, basically live on forever through a spell that she presents. And they kind of touch on it a little bit in here where she talks about that she wants to, get it fully done and perfected and then present it to be, I guess, an official spell. So I guess they have some sort of process in this universe of witches that you can, submit a spell to be, classified and, solidified into the doctrines or whatever. But anyways, yeah, this is something that she wants, something that she'll dream of, having this spell, or at least being able to sleep in the clouds. And so she's trying to create this thing, and yeah, apparently it has flaws. It's not soft enough, it's too heavy, it doesn't float enough, you need something softer, try something like cotton, then it'd be just a pillow. They're just there criticizing it's not warm enough in here, all this kind of stuff. But yes, it eventually builds into, okay, we gotta strategize how to handle this dragon. And apparently Coco, because she's too pure girl, she's upset because she heard the dragon hit the ground and knew that it probably hurt the dragon, and I was too afraid to notice it, but I want the dragon to be happy, and that Kefrey told me that magic that's not forbidden brings happiness, so I want to bring happiness to the dragon. That way nobody has to get hurt. I mean, she makes a good point, the idea that we're not going to be able to kill it. Agate did some really cool fire spell there, wasn't able to kill it. And the thing, as you notice over time, is getting bigger. They never got 100% on it, but it kind of implied that they were getting smaller. It's both ways. Either the dragon's getting bigger or they're getting smaller. The labyrinth itself is getting bigger or they're getting smaller. Something is changing. The perspective in this entire area is changing, and they're slowly getting shrunk or whatever. I think it is an element of being permanently, basically enclosed in there if you don't get out in time. Either way, they're not going to be able to kill the damn thing. So our idea is to basically bring Tetia's dreams to life. Let's create a fluffy place that nobody could ever, even Riche says, nobody could ever deny the idea of a big fluffy bed. So they decide to figure out how they can make this. And it comes down to essentially what they established before. Doing these little small explosions on the stone itself to create the sand, bring all the sand together. And one last thing they bring up later, which was the interesting part of this entire spell they create. Again, this goes to sort of what we were talking about Kefrey. This idea of this crazy spell that he has on his arm. It seems like the limitations of magic isn't really there. It is whatever you dream of it. And that is sort of a cool thing to eventually get into with this story. I like that there's so much so far, and we can get to a point where they might put more structure on it. so far there's very little limits that we've kind of put onto spells. And thus, something right here is sort of showing the boundlessness of it. And the idea that they're going to use these two different elements here, which is to create explosions to break down the stone into sand, and then you're going to create this other element that's going to bring it to one location, and then you're going to use this one last element around those two elements to keep trying to bring structure to it again. So it's almost like it's trying to, I guess, break it apart, but bring it back together over and over again. So it creates this fluffy thing that is made of sand. So they have plenty of material there. It's just making that material float and be fluffy is this idea of this, what would they call it? Yeah, repetition. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. Again, I like this idea of creating a boundless spelling system here that does have sort of this creativity given to it to get around these different issues like a massive dragon. To create a dragon disabler cushion. Rejected. Rejected. Anyways, yes, now they've successfully stopped the dragon, which, again, it was kind of dorky. This idea of, like, these massive explosions happening. The dragon's freaking out, like, what are these explosions for? He's running over there, and then suddenly he touches it barely, and then it looked like he, like, died. Like, he just flops over dead, and then he rolls on his back like a puppy dog. It was corny as hell. It was corny as hell. But, again, it's cute to Tetia's character here. The dream that she desires, the thing that she was hoping for, she gets to see it in action. She can see how happy the dragon is. It brings her so much joy. It's cute. It was cute. But yeah, they go over there and they break the seal. Just smears it. Just smears the seal and just freaking breaks it. There's this massive like wormhole happening to go back to the other world. Freaking Kefrey gets sucked into it. It was dorky. But yeah. Again, I mean, there was a lot of this in the previous segment with them going over there and putting down all the seals was super incredible. Like just they're running up the stairs and this like taking their different directions, like telling Riche to go up ahead, and you see their boots just shoot off and she flies up there. The whole shot where Riche comes in and she does that little slide, they've seen it in the PV. It's so freaking good. It's like the slide and then the swoop, like just the drawing. All the shots of just the drawing, I love it. Seeing the pen go across the concrete, just these beautiful little lines they're creating. It's just, oh, it's so freaking good. It's so freaking good. The attention to detail. Like the studio, the team, every single animator, animation directors, all of them, the in-betweeners, everybody on all full cylinders. Just so freaking good. I love it. But no, the dragon versus Kefrey part, holy crap. Yeah, Agate falling down, saying screwed up, don't have my boots with me, finally catching up to her. Coco's screw-ups finally catching up to her. It's Agate's fault, honestly, because she got Coco in that situation. But anyways, Agate falling down, Kefrey zooming in there, like that shot of the dragon coming around the pillar and just like the gaping mouth open and then smack. But yeah, once Agate's picked up, goes up into the air, straight up in the air, goes past the dragon first. The whole shot where he flies up there, he says, grab on, I need a hand free. She grabs a hold of his neck, and that shot where he shoots up there and it comes out. They show this in the PV. We saw that shot where Kefrey's coming away from the perspective there, which is an awesome freaking shot. Such a gorgeous shot. I love it. But we didn't get to see the next part, which is like he hits the spell and suddenly like the music just drops and that it's just so good, dude. The moment that music dropped and the freaking clouds cleared, I was like, oh, like the hairs on the back of the like you got the goosebumps going on. It's like, damn. That was so freaking good, dude. And again, what happened there is the thing that really got me is just like, holy crap, he just summoned like this massive dragon. Massive freaking dragon. Again, it makes me really question the limits to what spells can do. What creates that? I'm kind of curious because, I mean, Agate, the entire time, you can probably say that she's being doki. That assumption is there. We can make that assumption. Agate, the entire time, this is her Prince Charming, this hot dude that's taking care of them. He's incredibly powerful. It's sensei. She looks up to him. He's really talented. She wants to learn everything possible from him. She probably respects him so much and probably got doki right here because he saved her life. That aside, we're going to establish that's an assumption. What is also the chance that she's seen a forbidden spell here? I wonder if that was a forbidden spell. Again, it doesn't look like it's labeled, like it doesn't have anything inherently about it that where I'm like, wow, yeah, that's definitely got to be forbidden. It doesn't seem like It's not like the spell that Coco made where it literally consumes everybody and turns them into crystal. That seems like obviously its only intention is to harm. You can probably make an argument this is similar. What use case would this be to anything but harming and war and whatnot? I wonder if Agate's seen this and said, forbidden magic. That shock face is forbidden magic. I would think that Kefrey would say something like, don't mention anything that happened here later on or something like that. He might do it later. We might see a cut later where he caught her off to the side and said, no matter what you've seen here, don't mention it. Please don't say anything about this. He has it under his sleeve. He keeps it for like a moment like this. I wonder. He seems very tied in with these brimmed capped individuals. So I wouldn't doubt that he knows some of it. I don't know. Anyways, following the dragon knocked out, we have a little brief shot of Coco, and she's with the brimmed cap individual, and they're talking about how the seed's been planted and sprouting, and they're so super excited. And what do you think of this whole assignment I created for you? Did it make you grow more? Which obviously it seems like it did. During that entire segment where they're all preparing, she technically did finally figure out how to do the pyro flame thing, which I love that whole bit where Tetia's super excited for her, and Agate's like, what, everybody could do that if they had enough time, which creates the whole repetition thing. But it was just cute, the idea of like Tetia and Riche is like, Coco did it. Like, this is a big step for Coco. She's been trying this entire time. This is exciting for them. Like, Coco, you achieved something. Agate's like, again, Agate doesn't want to accept the idea of Coco achieving something. Doesn't like Coco in general, so it's not like she's going to be excited for this. Tetia is going to be excited for her. It was cute. But yeah, it technically did help Coco grow in a way, and she's going to learn something here because she just helped them do this whole process. So she's now going to know this idea of repetition and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, did you learn something? And I'm going to teach you some other stuff. I can teach you things that Kefrey can never teach you, and I would assume it's probably forbidden magic. But waiting for that day. That day, it shall be a great one. Little riddles. Riddle me this. Anyways, after that, Coco wakes up. She's really upset. Obvious thing here. Again, kind of going piggyback off to everything before. Agate getting upset at her. Tetia looking with that face of like, it's your fault, even if she didn't mean it. Right here, she's apologizing. Everybody's, in shambles. They're all covered in dirt. Everybody's life was put in danger. She feels like she's at fault. It doesn't quite get into it right here. I kind of wonder if there is a bit here where she does understand that the Brim's hat's after her. Maybe she potentially did hear what that guy was saying. I assume that a lot of this is just the fact that she got everybody caught up in that. And Kefrey, this is a surprising thing. Like, the whole thing with Kefrey, him yelling at Coco before about, like, not understanding the dangers of magic and running off and doing the test. There he gets onto her and not Agate. But here he's supporting Coco, even though she once again got them stuck in a situation that's extremely dangerous. Like, now he's okay with it? No, I heard from the others what you did, and it seems like you saved everybody's life. I do like what he's saying here. It's not necessarily about, like, the spellcasting itself as penmanship. It's like what you do with it. It's like what exactly your ideas come from. And it's not necessarily like the drawing it out. It's how you put it in practice. What you're doing, the elements you're taking together and putting together. It's using your brain, basically, not just your fingers and drawing it. But one last little thing here. He tells Noah, I need to know what this ink is made of. Again, specifically made of. Not, where it came from. I thought maybe potentially it could be like him saying, hey, what town that tree, where the tree is located in which town. It may have different elements to the ink based on which tree and which location it's actually grown at. He's saying what it's made out of, which implies that it's not just those particular trees they're getting it from that Nonoa has. It might be other trees, other specimens of trees, or maybe not a tree in general, just something that is going to produce the same effect as the ink is. And that makes me believe that it may have other potentials other than, like, maybe more mana capacity, more power. It could be possibly more unstable. It kind of opens up the door to a lot of possibilities there, but also Kefrey telling him, don't tell the Knight Marlis. Don't tell them. Which, yeah, it's him not wanting the higher-ups to know about this, even though they're supposed to. They have an obligation, like he tells them, I have an obligation to tell them of any forbidden magic sightings. Don't tell anyone. Having a little brief moment of, like, seeing a a darker side of Kefrey. It is not this. He's just not this guy that's always cheerful and positive and do-gooder, and he's the greatest, Boy Scout ever. No, he's got a dark side. He doesn't want them to know about it, which makes me wonder: does he not trust them again? Because he's left like the main headquarters. Alara was asking him to come to the main headquarters location. You could bring them here. They'll accept the children and all that kind of stuff. They can learn here. They have all the resources here that you need. No, I'll come here when I need to come here. It implied there that he did not want to be there. He did not want to be at that headquarters. He possibly doesn't trust them, or at least feels that they handle this stuff wrong, or potentially just specifically the Brim Caps. It also makes me kind of wonder if possibly he believes the Brim Caps are infiltrating already, and that potentially overlooking what they're doing. And so he doesn't want them to know about this. I don't know. And it could just be the fact that he wants to investigate it himself. He wants to find them first. And again, that could go to my theory of somebody being involved with the Brim Hats that he wants to help. But either way, crazy stuff. Good episode. Again, overall, really, really love this episode. Some good moments in it. Some cute little character moments with Tetia and her wanting to make this spell, putting the spell into practice. Seeing Agate sort of accept a little more of Coco's more positive nature. It's a little bit over the top, goody two-shoe main character type of stuff with like the whole like, I was afraid that he hurt himself, the poor dragon. What could it hurt if we tried to give it a fluffy paradise? I don't know, people could die. There's like this element of like, what would it hurt? I don't know, your life. What would it hurt if we gave it fluffy stuff? It could kill you. There's a little bit of like a goofy, overly positive main character stuff here, and her kind of rubbing off to other people. But it's still cute. Some great moments from Riche, though. I really like her character right now. She's just turning out to be like this genius. Like, she's super good at making like the really small symbols and stuff like that. Leave it to me. It's like just turning them out like crazy, like a photocopier or whatever. Some good stuff there. Got a little bit of feel of, I will admit, a little bit of a feel of a Yuri. The whole Tetia Coco thing, it felt a little Yuri between the two of them. I'm kind of curious if they might have something like that going on with Tetia's character. I mean, it does kind of feel like these girls are very, very... They have a little bit of a feel there of like a potential romancing kind of stuff there, or it could just be Yuri bait kind of stuff. But I don't know, I felt something with Tetia there. I'll just, for now, write it off as, yeah, people are going to ship it. But for now, I'll just leave it as being like just super close friends. It doesn't always have to be relationships. But it was cute there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's a lot of yapping about how amazing, incredibly animated and put together this entire episode was, which was really, really cool. And again, just kind of bringing out about some really cool theories about forbidden magic and the advancement of it. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.